Monthly update for the month of February, folks. We are sitting here in March, almost halfway through March. I like to do these updates at the start of the month. It's been pretty hectic with the Six Nations on, Super Rugby starting. So yeah, we'll get to the monthly update a touch late, but we'll go through some stats and thanks for the month, plus a few news stories. The 20-minute red cards are on the agenda again with World Rugby. The Box potentially could be looking for a new captain, and Julian Savea broke the all-time Super Rugby try-scoring record. That and more to come in this update from 2 Cents Rugby for the month of February, very belatedly mid-March. In the month of February, what was in the news, or what was popular on the channel? Mostly Six Nations. Basically, all the videos relating to the Six Nations. For example, the top topic was the Irish victory over the French, because that was such an unexpected margin of victory. The Italian getting the kick charged down. Well, not charged down, missing the goal kick. The charge down that wasn't that kind of topic was pretty popular. Just the Six Nations generally was all over the place. And that's reflected in the kind of viewing markets, top 5 countries for the month of February. Ireland 1, UK 2, South Africa 3, USA 4, and Australia 5. USA 4, above New Zealand. New Zealand's down in 6th. Is that a bunch of overseas Irish fans based in the US, or is that just US fans getting into their Six Nations? I don't know. Even 229 views from Greece. So welcome along to all the Greek viewers. Cities, Dublin was 1, London was 2, Cape Town 3, Cork was 4, and Edinburgh was number 5. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom city without exporting it to Excel. If you want to get right down to the nitty gritty, you have to export to Excel. But from the bottom of the regular list, Carlow in Ireland was in 50th spot. That's as far as the list goes down in its kind of first phase view. I don't know where Carlow is, but apparently it's a place in Ireland. Welcome to the viewers from Carlow. I also scrolled past the city called Sword, which is also in Ireland. That's a cool place name. I'd love to be able to say I come from Sword, but I come from Auckland, so there you go. Some other stats, age groups wise, 35 to 44-year-olds pipped the 45 to 54-year-olds by 0.1% this month, and the 25 to 34-year-olds were just behind. Those 3 groups make up about 60% of the viewers, 92% dudes, 65% of people not subscribed. So if you want to change that, do us a personal favor and subscribe to the channel. But ultimately, my big thanks to you for coming along in the month of February. It's been a cracking month. It's been pretty hectic with all the rugby on, but it's been a pretty high quality month, and March has followed it up pretty well. But yeah, cheers to you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, watching, all that kind of jazz. It really helps a lot. And a special thanks to all these people, the patrons. These are the people who support the channel every month. A special thanks to Angus, Jack McHugh, and Matt Barrett. I actually got to meet Angus the other day, a few weeks ago now, but he's from the UK, but popped over to New Zealand on a bit of work and managed to catch up with him for a coffee. It wasn't quite beer o'clock, but yeah, it was good to meet Angus in the flesh and chat some rugby for a bit. So cheers, Angus, and all you other patrons. There is a link to Patreon down in the description if you want to jump on board and get your name on this honor roll, or there's also buy me a beer down in the description as well. So cheers to the people who have done that throughout the month of February and the month of March. News-wise, 20-minute red cards. I know some people hate them. I am probably in the camp of I prefer 20-minute red cards, just because I prefer rugby 15 on 15 as much as possible. I do understand some people take the attitude that if we see reduced penalties for red cards, then we will see an increase in kind of dangerous tackles and whatnot. Personally, I don't see it. I think the majority of the red cards at the moment are kind of accidental ones, and there are punishments which can be meted out, which are not necessarily just time during live game. It could be longer off-field suspensions. It could be financial. I'm not sure if they're allowed to do that, but I know other sports have implemented financial fines and whatnot to change behavior. So I think there's a multitude of ways you can change behavior. So that's coming up for a vote. Apparently Sanzar is pushing to have that on the May agenda for World Rugby, but it would need 75% of the voters to agree before World Rugby would make that one law. Apparently some of the Six Nations countries are a little bit hesitant, and articles that I read pointed to France being the most hesitant, so we'll have to kind of wait and see if that gets off the ground. Other people have suggested maybe orange cards, like you save red cards for like egregious like punching and eye gouging and all that kind of stuff. You leave the orange cards for the ones which are the majority of the ones we see now, which is guys not getting low enough. I don't know about adding another card because I think that just adds to the confusion for new fans. But I don't know. I'm open to kind of all options on the table for the way things are. But yes, it is certainly coming up for a vote. The Springboks might be in need of a new captain. Not sure how far this one will go. Siya Kolisi has been captain since, I think, 2018. And you'd have to say he's done a pretty good job. He's led his team to 2 Rugby World Cups, made a miraculous comeback from injury to get back for the last World Cup, which most people would have missed with the amount of time he spent out of the game. But at 32 years old, he's still got it in him to certainly go through another campaign. 2 campaigns, I think, might be a little bit too much, but he's certainly got 1 left in him. But he is currently based abroad. He's over in France. So Rassie Erasmus has talked about how he prefers to have his captain locally based, which makes things a little bit trickier. I don't reckon they'll replace Siya as the kind of long-term captain personally, but there's a few times when I've kind of made predictions about what Rassie might be going to do and tended to get them dead wrong because I can't get inside that guy's head. But I would also guess if he was going to replace Siya either short-term or long-term, that guys like Bongi and Bonambi, who's locally based, Eben Etzebeth, who's locally based, would probably be kind of a couple of obvious candidates. But knowing Rassie, he will have a plan that I wouldn't have even been able to conceive of if indeed he plans to change the captain. So we will kind of have to wait and see who gets that job. If it isn't Siya, certainly big shoes to fill. But the Springboks have talked before about it being a big leadership group anyway, rather than kind of one individual player. So I'm sure whatever they do with the leadership, it'll be kind of steady as she goes. And then the last one, Julian Savea broke Israel Folau's try-scoring record, scoring his 61st Super Rugby try at the weekend for Moana Pacifica. He'd been tied up with Folau's score of 60 for a long, long time, but finally managed to break that record. I had a look back at Julian Savea's kind of prolific try-scoring days, and certainly for a number of years, you could pretty much bank on him scoring a try every other game, which is a pretty good strike rate. He scored 61 tries off 155 games, but it slowed down a lot in his later years, and remembering he spent a couple of years in France. So like 2012, he had an incredible strike rate of 9 from 13. Then he went like 7 from 15, 7 from 16, 8 from 16. So around about that kind of 50% mark. But in the later years after he came back from France, he'd obviously slowed down a bit. He'd lost a bit of that kind of pure defensive beating power. I think in 2021 he had 5 from 10, but that included the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman campaign when the Aussie sides were just getting flogged. So I think he got a few kind of easy ones in that campaign, if I can call them that respectfully still. But 2022, 2 tries from 11 games. 2023, 3 tries from 11 games. So certainly a reduced kind of strike rate, but he still managed to get over the line with his first try from Moana Pacifica, 1 from 3 for this season. So 61 tries for him. Massive, massive achievement. Just for context, Folau had his 60 tries in 96 games. Savea's at 155. So Folau's strike rate was phenomenally impressive. It's a shame for pure rugby purposes that guy couldn't keep playing. I know all the off-field drama. I'm just putting that to one side, just saying for pure rugby stuff, like what an incredible try-scoring record that guy had. I think I saw him score his last try because I went to see the Blues take on the Tars at Eden Park. I think it was the week later that the whole social media thing blew up. So I think I saw that 60th try. But yeah, TJ Perenata's still in the hunt for that as well because he's not far behind and he is back playing for the Canes now. But yeah, either way, hell of an achievement from Julian Savea. So big congratulations to him. You guys let us know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on 20-minute red cards? I know they can be a bit of a divisive one. New Bok captain, do you think it'll happen? And if it does, who is your favourite to take over from Siya, either short-term or medium-term, even potentially long-term? And Julian Savea, favourite try of his? When I think Julian Savea tries, my mind naturally goes to All Blacks tries, but I might have to go back and watch a highlight package to see some of those Hurricanes tries back when he was like the unstoppable bus. Bus has slowed down a bit over the years because Father Time catches up with us all, but yeah, still an incredible achievement for him. Anyway, cheers folks. Thanks for the support throughout the month, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.